LightBurn, software made for laser cutters, recently launched version 1.0. And it's not because it's something crazy different, but it's because they've been updating so much, it's time. We're gonna go through LightBurn, and if you leave a like, we'll even fire the laser! But you gotta stay tuned for that one. Let's make awesome. It's been a long time coming. And the tables turned around because one of us is going down. And it's RDWorks because honestly, it is truly the worst software I've ever worked on. LightBurn is software designed for laser cutters. And if you have a cheap laser cutter, and when I say cheap, I mean basically not a Glowforge. If you have a laser that is not a Glowforge, and you are not using LightBurn, what's wrong with you? Like, I have used Trotec software. Trotec makes very expensive lasers. LightBurn's better. IMO, just saying, LightBurn's better. Trotec makes good software. LightBurn is better. And we happen to know a lot of the devs inside of the LightBurn teams. I've got personal, people that I know. One thing to note, it's already happened, but they have raised their prices. It is still the cheapest software that honestly you'll buy. So would be $120 for our laser or $60 for G-code lasers. Let's go over the differences here. And to do that, we're going to take a look at the online store where you can buy LightBurn. You've got your G-code key and your DSP key. Let's talk about these. The G-code key and G-code based lasers are lasers that you would generally put onto a 3D printer. Now, I know what you're thinking. Grant, I probably have a 3D printer. I could do this. Stop. Hammer time. But seriously, don't. Your 3D printer is good for 3D printing. Now, it will make an okay laser, but a lot of these cheap lasers that you can buy on, let's go to Amazon. 3D printer laser. This is how you go blind. Okay? You know the old saying, don't look at laser with remaining good eye? Diode lasers are how that occurs. Now, this is a 450 nanometer, so it's UV, and 1.6 watts. Now, that may not sound like a lot. It's really not. But even just the reflections coming off of that can permanently not just damage your eyes, but make you go blind if you are not wearing proper laser safety gear. And that includes laser glasses and preferably some sort of protection. Now, I don't know about you, but for $57, I'm not trusting the glasses that come with that. And there's an easy way to check these things. If you have a diode laser, take the glasses that you would normally use and put them in front of your laser. If anything comes out the other side, you've got a problem, because that means it's not stopping all the stuff. Now, diode lasers can be good. We had one on our X-Carve, which is a small CNC machine. And we had that until we got our carbon dioxide laser, which is a much higher frequency laser. They're invisible to the human eye. But I want to make this very clear from the beginning. Lasers are dangerous. It's not as fun as resin is toxic, but lasers are dangerous. And if you go and spend $57 on a Creality laser, chances are you could really hurt yourself. And I'm not just talking about you. It could be other people outside, in the room, in another room where a reflection gets to them and harms them. Enough of my belly aching. Let's go into this a little bit further. So, G-code based lasers are normally the diode lasers. They are controlled via G-code, and that's the same thing that 3D printers run. Now, DSP lasers, which stands for Digital Signal Process, are generally speaking more professional grade. I'm going to put some quotes over professional grade. These are Ruida controllers. That's what the industry calls them. It's what their name is. If we go to one of the largest companies for this kind of thing, it is CloudRay. And CloudRay, you can buy Ruida. So if we go under CO2, we can look at the controllers, which are Ruritas. These are your Ruritas. These are DSP controllers for lasers. And you see right there, you can literally get LightBurn through CloudRay. Hilariously, it's cheaper through CloudRay, so buy it through CloudRay for now. Or don't. Support LightBurn directly. It's worth the extra 40 bucks. It really is. But Rurita controllers are great. They're incredibly affordable when you look at the cost of the laser overall. And you can even just get replacement film because that does happen over time. Now, before LightBurn, back in the dark ages of lasing, we had RD Works. And if it wasn't for Sabar Multimedia, I'm going to give Russ a huge shout out here. If it was not for Russ, I do not believe that these cheap lasers would have caught on the way that they do. Russ takes the time to explain RD Works, and anyone that's used RD Works will generally agree with me. The software sucks, it crashes for no reason, the language never updates correctly, and it basically hates you the entire time. It's like ZBrush, but for lasers. And if it wasn't for Russ, I really don't think that... I know me, I would not have a great experience, but I know a lot of you that have these kind of lasers would have a crappy experience as well. So if you want to see what it was like back in the dark ages of lasing, go take a look at youtube.com/user/Sabar Multimedia. Yeah, RD Works Learning Lab. Like, I remember it to this day because if it wasn't for Russ, we would not have our laser. LightBurn makes it easy. And it is cheap like borscht. It is so freaking cheap. When you look at a software that is reminiscent to CorelDRAW or, you know, Illustrator a few years ago, it is so much nicer. Now, there are some additions that you can do through LightBurn because you can get more than this. You can get cameras. They have their own interior camera systems that allow you to align your parts. Something that Glowforge does really well, and up until LightBurn produced their camera, really just wasn't an option for the hobbyist market that didn't want to pay Glowforge money, or, like us, got into lasers before Glowforge was a thing. I'm kind of glad, because I might have fallen victim to Glowforge's marketing. But nonetheless, for this price, it's actually a pretty good value, and it helps you align your stuff. Now, this is very useful if your computer is directly connected to your laser. Ours is not, because I don't want to put this computer out in my garage. Do note, the fumes coming from lasers are, generally speaking, dangerous. The first time you cut leather on your laser, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you've ever burned hair for whatever reason, whether you were being an idiot around fire, maybe you were using the curling or straightening iron a little too long, that's what leather smells like when you're cutting it. Without proper ventilation, you're gonna have a bad time. We use a ventilation system. I take it right out a window in my garage. Nice and simple. Now, we do have to talk about some things regarding materials inside of lasers. If it has the word vinyl in it, do not cut it under any circumstances, or I will be mad at you. Cutting vinyl, which is PVC generally, polyvinyl chloride, releases chlorine gas. And, yeah, lungs don't like chlorine gas. Neither do metal, which your laser's mostly made of. It will instantly rust metal. It will cause you to, well, effectively burn your lungs and potentially suffocate. And I don't want that. If your material is not laser safe and you're not sure, make sure you ask. You can email us, youtube@3dmusketeers.com. I will tell you. I will do the research if you don't want to do it. I would much rather waste time keeping you all safe than potentially telling you to do things that could get you hurt. All right. We have a DSP laser. We've got LightBurn. Let's talk about some of the latest updates in 1.0. And you see right here, it doesn't mean there's a whole new look or massive changes, but we've grown our feature list to the point where we think this version has earned the 1.0 label. They're doing virtual arrays that allow you to turn one piece and everything else moves, thank God. Print and cut wizard, which will help you walk through things. Boolean assistance, yes, please. And we'll link to this so you guys can go through it all on your own. But TLDR of all of this, LightBurn is constantly updating. And you should be pretty friggin' amped. If we go back to all the development news about LightBurn, we can see that they're releasing things relatively often. Now, understand when their release comes out, it's common that there is a patch. Now, I'm still running the 1.0.0. They have a patch release which came out 8 days after. It's actually only 3 days old as of recording this video. But they do update relatively often. April to August, April to April, March to April. They're making some pretty serious moves here, and they're hiring a lot of people. We went from, okay, 9.2 on December 18th, 9.21 in March. That's pretty good when it's, I think it's a team of 6 or 7 guys now. I mean, honestly, it's a tiny team. Let's take a look at this, though. I know I need to be in my recent projects. This is what we need. The client needs 10 of these. And of course, I have them arranged in 4s. Good job. So let's get rid of all of that because that doesn't matter where we're going. Very simply, LightBurn makes laser cutting easy. This was an image that the client gave us, and we actually use their image trace function to do it. So you can put any image in there. For example, the 3D Musketeers logo. This is not something that I can immediately vector cut inside of LightBurn. However, I can right click, go to trace image, and boom, it is traced it. Now you can adjust your thresholds to get things the way that you like it. But there you go. I mean, it did a very good job. Now, of course, something as small as that, our threshold may not be great. We can mess around to try to get something that works. But you know what? I'm not all that picky. And there you go. Now what we can do is we grab the actual image, we can pull it away, and there you see vector lines for my logo. And now we can cut that out of whatever I want. We're not going to do that in this video because, well, it's a paid project. That's kind of fun. It's not often that clients let us show off the parts that we're doing for them, but this one, they were totally cool with it. And we'll actually plug what this is. I'll put it down in the description for you guys so you guys can check it out. And if the client comes out before this video goes live, maybe we'll have them do a little plug at the end of the video for you. But speaking of plugs, that's my segue to our sponsor, 3D Musketeers. That's right, we're going to continue to self-sponsor these episodes, going over awesome software like LightBurn. Because if you like this stuff, make sure you get subscribed and leave a like. But if you're trying to get your ideas out of your head and into your hands with full art-to-part rapid prototyping and product development, utilizing awesome technology like 3D printers and laser cutters, you can reach us at 3D Musketeers. Links will be in that description down below. Now you'll notice some different colors. You'll see a green box, you'll see some red and black. Over here is where all of that stuff starts to matter. Now, something that we have found, your laser might be this way, yours might not be, ours is. One, I like to work in the top left. Laser origin is top right. I don't know, I've always preferred top left. One other thing to note, we do not like cutting right at the edge. It has a tendency, if your board is not lined up perfectly, as you get down, that error screws up. So we put our parts a little bit away from each edge. However, LightBurn will basically state that the farthest corner is your 0, 0, right? The closest thing to your home is 0, 0. So if I had home over here, it would actually start the cut with this all the way over at the edge. With this green box, it effectively lets us place this wherever we want. And because we have output turned off, well, don't have this problem. Now, they might have fixed this in a release. I don't know. I'm not willing to try. This way has always worked for me. It's okay. It does not take me any more time. In fact, it is a template that auto loads when LightBurn loads, so I don't have any of these problems. So your mileage there may vary. But we have deliberately done this so we can stack things in a proper orientation. We don't want to cut this exterior before we do the little circle, because if things shift as they're falling down, right? Because the material may not sit perfectly on that bed. You'll have a problem where it won't cut perfectly. So we're going to cut the little circles out first. Now, we're doing this at a 1/4 inch thick acrylic. Last time they ordered an 1/8, so we actually have to cut this down a little bit slower. And that's okay. Our laser's getting old. As carbon dioxide lasers age, they lose their power, right? They're just not what they used to be. And unfortunately, there is no magic blue pill for lasers other than just putting a new laser tube in it. So, yeah, I mean, recently our power supply died. A new power supply was like $200. A new laser tube is something like $350. And we have a 500 by 700 millimeter 80-watt laser, and for those of you that are laser people, it's a red and black. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay. Once you start looking to buy lasers, you'll understand they're all just known by their colors. It's a thing. But yeah, it's 500 by 700 millimeters for you Yanks. That is 20 by 28 inches. Now, we actually limit our cutting to 18 by 24 inches. If someone needs something a little bit bigger, we can go a little bit bigger, but you can get 4x8 sheets cut down into 18 by 24 with very little left over. So that's what we do. In this case, we have all of our parts touching. Now that enables the laser to turn off less often and be able to have less waste, right? Ultimately, we have here, and all of this little bit around, and the circles as your waste. If they were further apart, you'd have more waste. Lasers are a subtractive process. Unlike 3D printing that is additive, there is a fair bit of waste involved with lasers. That's actually why my business card, it's made of wood. I'm not going to show you the other side. I've done this before and like accidentally put out my personal cell phone number. But yes, this is the size of my business card, and I wanted the rounded edges, okay? I wanted rounded edges. But otherwise, there's just that little bit of waste. The rest of that board we use completely. We want to reduce the waste as possible, and if it's cheap plywood, I can throw it in a burn pile. If it's acrylic, you don't want to do that. Once we have our design figured out and what we're trying to do, we can actually go here, which is our preview. Now, this preview is really interesting in that it not only shows you, but it can actually play it out. Now, this is at 40 times speed, but this is how the laser is going to cut everything out. And you can see right there, it's not cutting over this edge anymore, okay? And that's really nice about these lasers. When you align things like this, it enables the laser to work less, and ultimately, your laser's life is limited. So if you can be more efficient about your cuts, why wouldn't you? Now from here, we'd be able to say, okay, we're good to go. We go ahead and save our RD file, or we go ahead and run it. Something to note about the saving process, you want to keep it to 7 characters or less on a Rurita board. You go over 7 characters, it gets mad and it won't show you your entire file name. So yeah, it can be fun to say the least. So anyways, I'm gonna go out to the laser. I will see you guys out there. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Let's burn some stuff. Okay, we're on set for this. I would normally have this camera over on a tripod, but we kind of need to be mobile for this. We've got a camera pointed directly into the laser, and we got some audio gear as well, because this is a little bit loud. Now, this could be so much louder if I didn't have a quiet compressor, and I'm sure you'll hear that thing kick on at some point, but we got our safety glasses on. This is not a diode laser, this is a carbon dioxide laser. These are generally fine. We're not cutting something that's reflective, and normally we would have the cover shut. Because we're filming today, we're gonna have the cover open, so just be aware of that, okay? So let me flip you guys around, and let's take a look. So this is a Rurita controller, and for us, we have to go to File, UDisc Plus, go ahead and read the UDisc, and I gotta find the file. There's the file, and now the file is literally just lines. Watch how slow this is. Yeah. USB 1.1 speeds right there. Now, we have our file on the laser. The next thing that we need to do is get it set for the right height. So we're going to jog the laser, and to do that, we're going to hit this button. And you'll see that it moves the laser. I'm gonna go ahead and get the actual height set. Now, there are a couple of buttons for me to use to set the Z height. This is a little bit too close. You can see it grabs the acrylic. Technically, you want it at an angle like that. And as soon as the acrylic drops, I'm going down, by the way. As soon as it drops, that's generally considered to be your correct Z height. Now, understand, this piece of acrylic may not be perfect, okay? So make sure you test it out. We have 2 different nozzles that we use on our laser. The other one that we use is 3D printed, and that is the right offset for it. There are easy ways to check this. Trust me, it's not that difficult. Now that we have that, we are going to get our compressed air. Of course, I need to bring it around in front of a camera, but that is okay. Go ahead and get us hooked up for air. Make sure that we have air. Now, the air system is manual on this machine. I could have it be automatic, but I just never got around to doing it. It's just easier for me on the manual side of things. So what I use is, oh, hey, look, you can see some of the lighting and things that we use. But what I use is just a really old, crappy regulator from Harbor Freight. These things are like 10 bucks. I'll put one on Amazon, link in the description for you. This one is probably in need of a new gauge, but you know what? It gets the job done. So we're gonna turn on a little bit of air. With acrylic, you don't want a ton of air. You want just enough to blow away the smoke and to keep it from catching fire. Don't worry, I will show you what that looks like. Now, we've got the file already in there. All we really have to do is click go. We've got our exhaust system on. It pulls through those grates and it goes out the window on the other side of the laser. And we also utilize that exhaust to pull away the heat from the chiller. Some chillers on lasers, particularly the CW3000, are not refrigeration based. They're just air to water liquid coolers, so they will never cool below ambient temperature. We actually cool all the way down to, I think we're at 17 or 18 C right now, which is at the dew point. So every now and then the tube arcs out, but it's what we need to run this tube nice and frosty. So let's get this rolling here, shall we? You can actually see the pink in the back of the laser there. That is the actual tube itself. Pretty dang cool. Now, I did adjust the file on this. I was a little bit worried that it might not fit. So hopefully this works. But I wanted to get 10. You can actually see some of the smoke caught under the acrylic there. And there's the compressor that just kicked on. It is very quiet. Now, because our laser's not perfectly aligned, that back corner there, it doesn't always cut all the way through, and I can tell that it did not, unfortunately, but not much we can do about that. We'll end up doing a second pass. That's okay. If I turn off the air all the way, you'll see quickly, should catch fire. Why are you not? Okay, well, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Normally the smoke from the actual acrylic itself is flammable and will catch fire. It's so cool. You can actually see the beam cutting through the plastic there. Laser smoke. Don't breathe this. Right at that top edge, exactly the way that we want it. Look at how close we are. And yes, this process is tediously slow. On more powerful lasers, they can run faster. I am cutting this slow so I can generally ensure that it goes through the first try. Unfortunately, I know back there it did not, and that's because our laser is not perfectly aligned. Now we can see it's gonna recut some of that, but a lot of it, it may not. Okay, it's gonna recut the whole thing. I guess I didn't have these pieces exactly touching each other, but it happens. Every time you see one of those little flashes, that's it actually reflecting off of the honeycomb bed underneath. Now, my safety glasses protect my delicate eyeballs, but if you weren't wearing safety glasses, that reflection is like basically arc flash from a welder. You do got to be careful about it. You see, I'll turn down the air. Let's see if we can get it to actually catch fire here. I have no air right now, and it is going all the way through. That's not common with this laser. Oh, and you just saw the part drop there.
Those 3 beeps are what you want to hear. That means the part is done and ready to go. Now, assuming all of your settings were right, those parts are completely free, and I'll be able to take them out and do some very satisfying peels for all of you peel fans out there. But yeah, lasers are really simple. You have to kind of know what you're doing. We're gonna do videos all about laser cutters. Let me know if you want to do some more videos about LightBurn. That was just a very cursory overview of what I'm using for this particular job. You guys will have to let me know what you think down in those comments below. I'd like to do more of this stuff. It's a lot of fun for me. And especially when we're able to get paid to do these parts too, because it helps offset the cost of making these videos. But yeah, let me know down in those comments. Let's get these parts out. All right. That's what we want to see. We want to see those drops. That's really good. All these circles come out. Yes, they do. By the way, if you are a scrapbooker and little tiny circles and stuff like that would be useful to you, reach out to a local laser cutting company near you. I bet they've got lots of little drops like that they end up throwing away in the trash. So, other fun thing about acrylic is when you laser cut it, it is flame polished. So it's completely crystal clear. Now the tops aren't, and that's because the protective mask is still on it. You can actually see some areas where the reflections damage the part. But for this client, that actually works out really well for them. So yeah, gotta love that beautiful flame polish look. Let's peel these bad boys. We've got our parts. This is not the traditional top down. Normally you'd be a lot farther away, but the Photon Mono X is still here, hence the yellow hint to my skin. And because it has an acrylic case, we're actually stuck to it. This is the back of the Photon right here, but I've got an auxiliary microphone here, so all that good peel ASMR is there and waiting for you. I am gonna go ahead and turn off the laser so we don't have too much overbearing in terms of extra noise. Yeah, much better in here now. All right, we've got these gorgeous luggage tags. As noted before, the flame polish is absolutely astounding on them. We are gonna go ahead and get off the protective film on here and get some of that beautiful peel footage for you. We would normally leave this film on for transporting. It will make them a little bit easier to transport with the film on it. However, I'm just gonna wrap these in tissue paper because, well, you know, the peels. As you can see when they're done, they are effectively crystal clear. Like, look at that, man. Thanks to Amber for making a little appearance in that. Tags are done. Lasers run considerably faster than 3D printers. This entire project took less than, I think, 15 minutes to do. Yeah, appreciate you guys coming along the ride for this one. It's been kind of weird considering that we just finished filming the Photon Mono X, and the Photon Mono X makes a phenomenal tripod for another camera that was doing all of your beautiful top down with another audio source. Hopefully got decent ASMR with the lovely Amber as a, what am I looking for? Assistant, yes. Thanks to the help of Amber for the last couple when I remembered that this is kind of her thing, and I kind of took that from her. I'm sorry, hun. But I got her out here to do the last couple for you guys. That's why the nail polish looked a little bit weird. No, I didn't do my nails, but maybe we'll do that when we shave my head. We'll see. Story on that coming soon, by the way. But yeah, that's it. Lasers are considerably faster than 3D printers. because they just cut and burn through things. And quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned, they're way more fun. I've always wanted to do a series of Will It Cut, to cut weird things in the laser. So let me know if that's something you guys want to see, because that's basically what we did with this thing for like the first week and a half that we owned it. We just said, will this cut? Will that cut? Will this cut? And the answer is generally yes, but no. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. These luggage tags came out gorgeous. We actually ended up making 11. Always try to make one extra just in case. And as you saw, because of the size of the material, I ended up doing them in different places just in case. And I'm glad that I did, because I don't think they would have fit on that third row. So thankfully we had enough material, and I'll show you, we've got a little bit of scrap left over. I will end up probably cutting it there, try to use this little piece here, but the rest of that is unfortunately garbage. And that's the bummer about laser cutters. And yes, before you at me about how dirty this is, I've got 2 herniated discs. If one of you want to come out and clean this, let me know. I'd love to have you out to do it, because yeah, your boy can't do that. I can't lift this out. But yeah, these laser cutters are very, very easy. They don't require a lot of work at all. And you too can use a laser, and we're gonna teach you how right here on the 3D Musketeers YouTube channel. So make sure you get subscribed. Yeah, anyways, guys, these machines are fun because they've got really weird translation things on them. The guide rail and the transmission part of Limerick weekly maintenance time. I know that's just a translation error, but it is kind of hilarious to see things like that. You know, things like it's ISO 9001. No, it's not. I promise you it's not. And of course, like any good large product, it's got the oh crap button. This is not the one that it came with, because the one that it came with is so crappy, it welded itself shut, and I had to put a new one on there. So do understand there are corners cut on these lasers. The tubes aren't generally great. The cooling isn't generally great. So you have to do a lot of this stuff yourself. But don't be afraid, you too can do it. You can get a laser for really cheap. I think we have less than $5,000 into this laser, and for what it's capable of and for what it can do for you, that is amazing.
There you have it. We're done. It doesn't take very long. I think the entire video was less than an hour of actual footage. So that should tell you it doesn't take all that long. And yes, a lot of what we do involves skill that I've learned throughout the years. So if you want to learn this stuff too, make sure to leave a like, comment below as well. Let me know that you want to see more laser-based content, because you too can do this. I promise. These softwares are nothing for you to really fear. The lasers are nothing for you to fear as long as you give them, well, the respect they deserve, right? This machine will cut through your hand and not think twice about it. It'll also cauterize the wound so you won't bleed out, but you're not going to enjoy it. Lasers are amazing tools that you can build businesses off of. I mean, we have a whole section of our business dedicated to using that machine. So yeah, if you guys want to know more about these lasers, let me know. This one just kind of worked out. We want to do a video all about some of the stuff that LightBurn does and why it is amazing and why you should buy it, even though they're not paying us. And I happen to have a laser job that we needed to get done anyway, so it was nice and simple to go out and show you some things on there too. Hope you all enjoyed this. Don't forget again to leave a comment below. Let me know if you want more laser-based content, because I think it's fun. And you know, firing the laser is always a good time. Anyways, guys, stay safe out there. Don't look at the laser with your remaining good eye. Don't forget to call your loved ones. And as always, keep making awesome. Have a good one. Pew 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 pew. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. Lasers are awesome. You can do it too, and we want to help you here on the 3D Musketeers YouTube channel. Right below me is going to be our playlist all about Chi2 Box and some of the drama that's going on right now, because if you're about lasers, you might enjoy this whole drama surrounding Chi2 Box. And next to it is going to be a video all about 3D printing. So, you know, if you like lasers, you're probably going to like 3D printing. I'll see you guys down in the comments. Take care.